Let's move on now to the next chapter of the FM, unit symbols. Unit symbols are used to portray the different size units of different orientation. For example, we may want to show an enemy squad, a friendly company, or a battalion of unknown disposition. This is distinct from the symbols that we use to show weapons or vehicles. We'll get to that next. The components that we use to make up a unit symbol are the same things that we use to make any military symbol. We use a frame, color, modifiers, and an icon. There are literally thousands of choices to choose from whenever we want to try and portray a certain type of unit. Rather than trying to memorize all of them, let's focus on only memorizing some of the most common ones, and then using the manual to look up any additional ones we might need later on. Chapter 5, Table 5-3 of the Field Manual contains a fairly comprehensive list of the most common military symbols. Here's a sample of the first 8. The FM breaks down each symbol by branch and then adds further modifiers to it so that you can get more specific. For example, if you're looking for a military symbol related to air defense, you would look under the AD section. Within that section is a listing of different types of AD symbols, such as the radar dome, the air defense gun, or the air defense targeting unit. Note that each of these military branches are broken down alphabetically. Now, if you remember in Chapter 1, there were literally hundreds of different terms and definitions listed. Just like that, there are literally hundreds of different symbols listed throughout this chapter to show the different types of military units. For the purposes of IBOLC, there are 15 main unit symbols that you're going to need to know. The distinctive icons that are used to differentiate between the different types of units aren't really intuitive either. Repetition and brute force memorization are kind of the only ways to remember them all. It's important to keep in mind that the icon is what distinguishes between the different types of units. The same icon that can show a friendly infantry unit is the same icon that we use to show an enemy infantry unit. Let's start off with armor unit symbols. Portrayed here are the different types of symbols that we use to portray friendly, enemy, neutral, or unknown armor units. The key to memorizing this is the oval shape in the center of each symbol, which is meant to symbolize a tank track. This same tank track icon is used to display an armor unit no matter if it's friendly, enemy, neutral, or unknown. This is the same pattern we're going to have to hold on to for the rest of the unit symbols. Another common type of unit symbol you're going to encounter are anti-armor units. This is just an upside down V in the center of each shape. Now there are 2 main symbols you're going to need to know for aviation units. The first is rotary wing units, which are mostly used to describe helicopters. This image contains 2 triangles which are meant to symbolize the propellers. The second symbol you're going to need to know are fixed wing units, like planes. The icon in this case is meant to symbolize a shaded propeller. In the manual, it breaks down symbols in the aviation unit section all the way down to short takeoff and landing assets, rotary mine countermeasures, and rotary command and control aviation assets. However, for IBOLC, we're just going to have to focus on rotary and fixed wing units. Now on to everybody's favorite, infantry symbols. There are many different types of infantry units out there. For the purposes of this lesson, we're just going to break it down into the 6 most common ones you're going to encounter. The first one you're going to have to encounter is a regular infantry unit. You can use this symbol if you want to portray any infantry unit, but you don't know what kind it is. The icon for all infantry units are the cross straps. The next type of infantry unit is the light infantry symbol. It's the same as the generic infantry symbol, but it has an L along the bottom line. The third type of infantry symbol is the mountain infantry unit. It's the same as the infantry unit symbol, but it has a shaded triangle in the bottom center to represent a mountain. The fourth type of infantry unit is the air assault unit. It's marked as a V in the top center of the symbol. The next type is the airborne infantry unit. The key modifier in this case is the parachute located along the bottom center of the symbol. And lastly, we have the motorized infantry units. This combines the tank track icon that we use in the armor units with the infantry cross straps. We typically use this symbol to describe Bradley and Scout type units. Engineer units are another commonly used symbol in IBOLIC. The distinctive icon in this case is the sideways E for engineer in the center of the frame. The manual can break it down further for combat engineers, bridging engineers, diving engineers, and more. The next type of unit symbol that we're going to go over are field artillery units. The distinctive icon in this case is the black dot located in the center of the frame. This black dot is meant to symbolize a cannonball. Reconnaissance, cavalry, and scout units are another commonly used symbol. The distinctive icon in this case is the diagonal line that goes from the bottom left to the top right of each frame. Note that sometimes you can combine recon units with a motorized unit, which you can see in this second set of symbols. This combines a tank tread armor symbol with a recon unit symbol. As infantry platoon leaders, military intelligence units are one of the most common unit symbols we're going to encounter while we're downrange. This is probably the easiest symbol to memorize because the icon is just the initials MI. Within the realm of law enforcement, the main symbol that we're going to use is the military police unit. This one is also pretty intuitive and easy to memorize. Signal units are denoted by the icon of a lightning bolt going through the center of the frame. In the current operating environment, we frequently encounter IEDs that can seriously affect our mission readiness. Consequently, EOD units are a crucial part of our combat power. Like MI and MP unit symbols, the EOD unit symbol just contains the initials within the frame. And the last symbol we'll cover in this presentation are medical unit symbols. The distinctive icon in this case is the medical cross in the center of the icon. It's meant to mean the same type of cross that we see in ambulances here in America. We can use this icon as the base for medical treatment facilities, dental facilities, evacuation points, and more. Whenever you portray a type of unit, you also need to indicate its size. The Army has adopted 13 different symbols to indicate the size of a unit. This is from Table 5-6 of the Field Manual. Most of the echelon symbols aren't intuitive, so you're going to have to remember each one. The echelon symbols are placed in the center on top of the frame. Take these examples here. Using what we know about unit and echelon symbols, we know that the first symbol is a motorized scout company, and that the second symbol is a field artillery, battery, or battalion. Just like the terms and definitions in Chapter 1, there are too many unit symbols to cover in just one presentation. You're not expected to know the hundreds of different unit symbols that are contained within the entire FM. The manual should be used as a reference to answer your questions. However, you should definitely have a few of the most common ones memorized.